And I was going to pick one of those words, or the other is intensity. Because I just said that you can do 10 seconds duration, it doesn't mean you're doing the intensity. If you chose the intensity correctly, I guarantee you're not going to be in this system. If you chose the right weight, you're not be doing it for 2 minutes, right? The best way to get to anaerobic is choosing the intensity. So if you get the intensity right, then you decide how long you're going to go for, or it could be repetitions, right? I'm not doing power cleans and timing it. And power cleans for 10 seconds and go. That doesn't make sense. You're going to do like, I'm doing 1 to 3 or something like that, right? But if you're doing body weight or sprinting, then yeah, you would choose maybe a timer of distance, like I'm running the 40 yards. But it's still intensity. You should run that 40 yards really fast, right? I'm not going to jog 40 yards. What's that going to do for me, right? So it's all about intensity. So the best way for intensity is directly go to ATP. You don't need this. Let's just use ATP directly and maybe get the help from creatine. We'll just get a phosphate from there. So this is 1 to 5 reps in your book. This is phase 4 mostly, and some of phase 5. If you're doing sprints or box jumps or throwing a ball against the wall, but you can totally throw a ball against the wall if you want to be in this phase for 30 seconds, let's say. But if you are, you're not doing power. I see you guys do at the gym. You get a ball and you're like this, and you're just doing like 30 seconds each side. But you thought you were doing power? That's not power. That sounds like endurance or something, right? If you're really going for power, it should be no longer than 15 seconds. And you should be barely be able to throw a ball against the wall in 15 seconds. Or just stuff really slow, that's when you stop. And you take a rest, a good rest, because all you care about is how fast you can throw the ball. Right? Well, baseball pitch, I'm not like, see how many times I can throw in a row. You see how many times I can throw 10 fastballs in 10 seconds. Each throw should be fast, right? So this is all about efficiency. How hard, how heavy, how fast. Take a nice long rest. Do it again. That's when you know you're doing this correctly. Now, if you're trying to look for fat, this isn't for you. If you want to lose fat, you're probably more in these two. And some of this, right? So now if you look like glycolysis, this is what most people do at the gym. We're looking for like muscle gains and fat loss. Your sets should be up to technically 45 seconds if you do it that right. What is the tempo for hypertrophy? 202. You also find that on which page? 360. That's the same chart. So what that means, if you're saying 202, when I say tempo, it's the pace, right? The pace of up and down. 2 is the way down, and then 0 is no pause, because you don't want to pause on here. You're doing curls, right? And you don't want to do it for squats either, because if you could pause at the bottom of the squat, you're probably not building muscles. Probably too light. You need to put some more weight on. You need to bounce back up, right? So it looks like this: 1, 2, 1, 2. That's what he means by 202. All right. So, how many reps did we say was hypertrophy?
6 to 12.
So now multiply that with tempo. How long is that? What's that range there?
Is that 24 seconds to
12.
48.
Yep, so it's anywhere between like 45, 50 seconds, just like this, right? So that sounds like kind of where the fast glycolysis is starting and where it's ending. But people don't. They do it in 15, 20 seconds, and they'll do their 12 reps like that. And they're wondering why they're not getting the gains, right? Because they're using momentum and they're trying to use ATP instead of glycolysis. You should feel lactate burning every second. I don't do as many sets. You guys see workouts sometimes. I don't do as much as you think. I still get really strong, right? Because each single set I do is very effective. I don't need to do 20 sets of chest. I can do 6 or 8 and I'm fine. Because each one counted, right? I made each one count. So hypertrophy phase 3 has a 202 tempo. Right? That's 2 seconds down, no pause, 2 seconds up. For 6 to 12 reps, it goes 24 to 48 seconds if you do it right. Which looks like this. That's psychology. So if you're doing phase one, not for everything, I wouldn't say everything is this tempo, but they recommend which tempo? 4-2-1, right? 4, that's 4 seconds down, 2 second hold, 1 second up, because you're focused on the negative part and the stability part. You want to see if you have good posture and control, right? And the reps are how much? Yeah. Now that's a long, each one of these is 7 seconds, right? So that's long, right? So what is 12 times 7? Do 7 times 10 first. 70, and then 7 times 2 is
84.
Yeah, there you go, 84 seconds. So it's 84 seconds, 20 times 5, or 7, I mean. What's 7 times 5?
140.
What was that?
20 times 7 is 140.
Yeah, so how long is that exactly by minutes and seconds?
2 minutes and 20 seconds.
2 minutes, 20 seconds. So I'll just do that, like 2 minutes, 20 seconds. That's a long set. That's why I was like, I don't have to do everything like that. Like if you're doing like one leg, bicep curls are 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
That's good.
Yeah, if I was going to do it, I would have to like do one arm and one leg and then split it in half maybe. Like, that still have a long time. I think it depends on what you're doing, right? But as you see, they're focused on, that sounds like they're going towards this now, right? Like phase one sounds like, it does say one of the endurance in phase one is endurance, right? It's called stability endurance. You're looking for endurance and looking for muscle size. Doesn't mean you're not going to get a little bit of it, just I'm doing more than you ever did in your life. But if I was to put on this, I'd be regressing. I'd be going lighter. I'm not going to go muscle. But some people, it would work. But that's a lot longer. That sounds like this. Slow glycolysis sounds like more phase one. Fast glycolysis is like phase 2 and 3, right? Phase 4 sounds like this, right? And maybe 5. Depends what you're doing in 5. It could be a mix of other ones, right?
So for sprints, would that be?
If the sprints are short, yeah. If you're doing 400s, you're probably doing like about a minute or so. You're kind of like fast glycolysis, maybe slow glycolysis, depends on the person. But if you're doing like short burst sprints, yeah, you're an ATP. If the intensity matches it, if you're actually sprinting, yes. Box jumps will be, but not if you're jumping on a box for a minute. Like you jump up and.
Yeah, the intensity.
It depends. It could be a minute, but maybe you're doing one at a time. That's different. So that's why you don't always want to time things. You want to like actually do efficient reps. If I have a high box for this table and I jump on the table, I'm pretty sure I'm using ATP to do that. Unless the guy's a basketball player, that's kind of easy for him. Then the intensity's not that high because he can jump on a box this high. So that's why it has to match the intensity. So what other question?
So like if you're doing sprints, you're staying in ATP. How long should your rest period be in between?
It depends what you're doing the sprints for. Like, are you doing the sprints because you want to lose weight? Or are you like, I want to be faster because I have a race coming up for the 100-meter dash, and you rest like 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're focused on actual time. I could do, when I was with the 100-meter dash, I'd run the 100 meters. I could technically like take a few breaths, turn around and run back, and I'd be just fine. But I guarantee my time was completely different. And you may not notice too much. But in practice, I was running like, I don't know, 11 seconds to 12. Or like, you hold back a little bit, I'm running like 11 to 12 seconds. If I was to turn around and run it again, or even wait a minute and do it, I guarantee I'd be like 13 to 14 seconds. And you wouldn't even notice unless someone was timing you. You'd be a little bit tired, but that's a huge difference for racing. That's like 10 meters in terms of being fast. That's like here to the wall. I just lost that much time. But if you're looking for weight loss, that doesn't matter. I guess you can run back, do it every 30 seconds or something. That's why it depends on your goal. Like sprints are sprints, but like, what are you sprinting for?
Would sprints be effective for weight loss?
More so than this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're actually building a little muscle. But if they're short sprints, probably not.
Right.
If you're like I said, if you're focused on time, not so much. You'd have to decrease the time. And then you're actually in here somewhere. You're not really doing sprints in here anymore. Your intensity is going down because you're slowing down. Your legs are slowing down and you're not resting much. Like phase 4 says take long rest periods. Phase 5 should be too if you're doing actually intense stuff. But if you're like messing around, the balls against the wall, and then battle ropes. Battle ropes are hard, but like, I don't burn out in 10 seconds. Like I can still do it for a minute, right? They're gonna be heavier than a rope. So you're doing like kind of power and speed away, but you're also like, people are doing this when it comes to battle ropes and jumping on aerobic boxes and throwing balls. They kind of turn it into too much of this. No wonder we're not getting any power or muscle, right? It should still be here or at least in the fast and hollows. It has to be match the intensity. That's the ratio. That's a good place to stop, right? I'll recap everybody. Let's do 20 minutes. Guys, kind of long.